Hi everyone, welcome to Oscar's Green Card, and today we're here to give you the update of the Visa Bulletin June 2025, which comes with great news for applicants in the EB2 category. Hi, my name is Oscar, and as you know, I'm a scientist and not a lawyer. And in this channel, together with Marina, we talk about green cards where you can self-petition. That means that you can be the owner of your immigration future. You can do this without a job offer, a company is sponsoring you, and also you can do it without a lawyer, saving a lot of money. These are the categories EB2NAW and EB1A. And in today's video, we're going to cover specifically the Visa Bulletin for the upcoming month of June 2025, which was released by the State Department and USCIS. And if you are unsure about what is the significance of this Visa Bulletin, let me remind you that this is the way you can know if there is a visa available to you. In the US, the permanent resident visas are granted on a quota basis. That means that for employment-based green cards, they only give out about 140,000 green cards every year. And each category gets a certain percentage, and each country gets another certain percentage. So out of all that complicated process, the Visa Bulletin is there to tell you if you can proceed to the end of the process or you have to keep waiting. Because there are two main steps in this process. The first step is the I-140 step, where you try to convince and persuade the officer that you fulfill the requirements of the category. And then the second step is an adjustment of status if you are in the United States, or a consular process if you are applying for a visa abroad. So no matter if you are abroad or in the US, the Visa Bulletin really matters for your overall process. So let's see where you can find this information. You can go to this website where you just Google Visa Bulletin and you will get here this blue website where you can see on the left side the Visa Bulletin for the current month, in this case the month of May 2025, and at a certain time of the month, in this case on the 13th of May, we have the upcoming Visa Bulletin for June 2025. And what we will do in this video, we're going to go from one to the other so we can compare what is going on and see the movements or lack of thereof for both months for the different categories. We're going to focus specifically EB1 and EB2 because in EB1 we have EB1A and in EB2 we have EB2NAW. And so if you are interested in any of these categories, we have websites that talk about them and we have specialized courses to teach you how to put together your petition, how to go about fulfilling the requirements. For each month, we're going to see two tables, but we're going to focus on the first table, Table A, because Table A is the more important one. Table A matters the most, no matter if you are abroad or if you are in the US. It's really the table that dictates if there is a visa available for you. And what you have to do is you have to compare your priority date, the date in which you file your I-140, to the date you will see in this Table A. If your priority date is earlier than the date shown in this table, that means that there is a visa number available to you and you can proceed to the end of the process and hopefully get your green card soon. If not, you have to keep waiting until there's a new Visa Bulletin in which that condition is fulfilled. So let's start with the comparison. In May 2025, for employment-based Table A, we had that for the first category of green cards, which includes EB1A, we had the letter C, which is typical. C means current. Usually for most countries, that is the situation for EB1. That means that there is no backlog, that you can go from the first step, I-140, to the second step, adjustment of status, immediately without having to wait much. There is visa numbers for you. That is the case also in June. We also have a C, that is not a surprise. And China and India, because there is a greater number of applicants in all categories really, don't have a letter C for EB1. In May, we had a date of November 2022 for China and February 2022 for India for category EB1. And those are still the same dates in the Visa Bulletin for June 2025. So no change in the EB1 category whatsoever in table A. So let's focus now on table A, but for EB2, which contains the popular category EB2 NAW. In the month of May, we had a date for most countries of June 22nd, 2023. And here are the good news. This date has advanced so much, almost 4 months, to October 15th, 2023. That means that many more applicants will be able to proceed to the last step of the process. If in the month of May you needed to have a priority date earlier than June 22nd, 2023, now in the upcoming month of June, you will be able to adjust your status or hopefully get an appointment in an embassy or consulate abroad if your priority date is earlier than October 15th, 2023. So a lot more people will be able to proceed. Remember, if you are doing this process abroad at an embassy or consulate, there is also an additional wait time you have to account for, and that is the time that that particular consulate needs to have in order to release an appointment date for you. And until now, we didn't have any information about those wait times for consulates or embassies, but recently they have released a new website where you can see that kind of information, and we have a video that you can watch where we present that new tool to you, and that has been really great for those of you who are not in the US. So EB2 for other countries like China and India has changed only a little bit. China goes from the 1st of October 2020 to the 1st of December 2020, so a couple of months of movement forward for China. However, India doesn't see any movements forward, so they are stuck in January 2013. Okay, Mexico and Philippines, they get their own columns, but there is no change with respect rest of world. If you see, they typically, for employment base, they typically follow the first column, rest of world. Okay, so other categories we don't really follow that much, but we also see, just as a quick note, we see that EB3 has moved January 23 to February 23, and EB3 other workers May 2021 to June 2021. So overall, this month we have a few good news across different categories and mostly for rest of world and China. And it's always great to be able to share some positive news. When we get to the end of the video, I'm going to show you the historic progression of the dates so you can see the bigger picture and not just the last 2 months, which is always very important to understand where we are in the big scheme of things. Now we're going to take a quick look at table B. Table B is not that important because, like I was saying, table A is really what dictates if there is a visa number available or not. But table B is used at the beginning of the fiscal year for those of you hoping to do an adjustment of status in the US. At this time of the year, table B is no longer used for that purpose, so the usefulness of this is very limited. But I want you to know that it exists. I'm not going to go into detail. This is not going to be used for adjustment of status. Table A is going to be used for adjustment of status. Really, we will not spend more time. When we get to October 2025, the new fiscal year will start, and we expect that those of you filing an adjustment of status will be able to use table B. Table B is better for the applicant because the dates are later, so more people can apply based on that. But again, it's for adjustment of status mostly and only used at the beginning of the fiscal year. So we'll have to wait until October. So now we're going to do a quick break to talk about our resources that we have for EB2NAW and EB1A. And once we're back, we're going to see the historical wait times for these categories.
So let's take this break to remind you about all the resources that we offer in our websites. This is our website for EB2NIW, eb2niw.info, and this is the other one for the category EB1A, eb1greencard.info. There you can find a lot of information about those categories. You can read our latest post and learn about all the success story of our course members and stay up to date with all the news about these two categories. But what we recommend the most is our courses. We have 3 different courses: the EB2 NIW course, the EB1A, and another focused on RFEs, where we help you to craft the best possible answer to respond this request for evidence. In the EB2 NIW and EB1A courses, we teach you how to prepare your own petition step by step, how to write a strong cover letter. We give you tips for drafting your recommendation letters, and we tell you everything about the required forms, the fees, and even we show you how to physically assemble your own petition package and where to send it so it arrives correctly at the UCIS, all to help you get that approval. In every lesson of the course, you can leave your questions or comments, and Oscar will personally respond to make sure you're not left with any doubts. Also, if you're interested in the EB2 NIW category, we have a live session once a month where we meet you to answer your questions face to face. With everything I've just told you, what are you waiting for to join the courses? So let's go back to Oscar.
All right, thank you, Marina. So now let's get to the spreadsheet where we plot what's happening with these movements in the visa bulletin across different months. We have data from the end of 2022, which was when EB2 was current in the visa bulletin, and then things started getting worse and worse, and the wait time at each particular month based on that particular visa bulletin started increasing until we reached about 15 months of wait time based on the visa bulletin in table A for rest of world. And that situation was more or less stable until summer 2024. Then the situation started getting worse again until we reached a peak of 22 months of wait time at the beginning of this year 2025. Since then, we saw a more or less stable situation, but now we are starting to see hopefully a trend where things get a little bit better. But even though this month came with good news, we still have to show this bigger picture in which we're still at historical long wait times for the EB2 category. So even though, yes, the news are positive, we still have to be cautious about it. And based on this graph, you see why, because the wait times for applicants are still quite high. We would like this to keep falling down, meaning that there's less time based on that visa bulletin to complete a process. So I hope this video was informative, interesting. If you liked it, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Most of you who are watching this video are not subscribed, and we would like that number to keep increasing because it helps us a lot with the YouTube algorithm. And as usual, I would like to say good luck to you in your green card process, and we will see you in our next video.